Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. That's me, yours truly. Welcome you to another edition of the show. It is noontime here in Las Vegas, and I'm coming to you live from the Go Live Vegas studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. 702-329-6947 is our number. 1-855-502-4321. In both cases, press the number 1 to come into the studio in chat. Early caller. Listen, before I get into anything today, aloha, Miss Jennifer, as always. Thank you so much for jumping in there. My special guest today is a gentleman that loves sharing his opinion, unfiltered thoughts, things going on in Vegas, things going on in the entertainment world, whatever it is. I'm just going to advise you to possibly buckle your seats because this is going to be a fun show sharing about what this man has going on in his life and what his thoughts are about entertainment as well as entertainers.
Come
as
on,
well.
Don't bullshit me.
I'm not bullshitting anybody. I don't bullshit anybody. My guest today, coming up after first, a little delayed. As always, we got to speed that button up. If only you knew what we were going to say early. Yeah, exactly. With that, coming up after our first break, Sam Novak is live in studio with me today. And the reason I shared that we have to buckle up is because he was sharing a story before he went on the air that he did a radio interview on traditional radio, which of course is regulated by the FCC, and sometimes, certain words slip out unintentionally. And when you're on regular radio and have to get beeped and covered and censored. Well, I told him, and Aaron here, my producer, Mr. Producer, reminded him that since we're on the internet, he doesn't have to worry about that. We're not regulated. If a fuck comes out or shit comes out every once in a while, it comes out, it happens. But we did warn him that our censor button is a little delayed. So hopefully you don't take offense to that. But we'll have some fun today. Good morning, Richard. I see Richard's in the chat room. Jennifer, everybody's there. And to all of you listening on the app right now, thank you so much for making me part of your Saturday. Hopefully everybody survived April Fool's weekend. Yes, it was April Fool's. If you have any stories how you got fooled or who you may have pulled an April Fool's joke on, I'd love to hear it. Give me a call at 702-329-6947. Okay. As always, some news and notes going on around the world of Las Vegas and then some. And we are going to start off with some lottery winners. This is my producer's favorite part of Las Vegas and the news that we share. Some of the casino went, well, now he says no because he's not one of the winners. That's why. I know his take. But David, how are you, dude? What's going on, my friend? Listen, David, you got that hair removal on your face. You look about 30 years younger. It looks good on you, by the way. David Nickel is in the chat room. Good to see you, David. Thank you so much for jumping in there. Okay, so Hawaii, folks, lately, the Ninth Island, they've come visited the Ninth Island here in Las Vegas, as we are called by all of those there. And lately, I've been reading about a lot of Hawaii folks. A lot of Hawaii visitors are hitting jackpots while they're here in Vegas, and the trend continues. A woman visiting the Ninth Island started her week by hitting a massive jackpot in downtown Las Vegas. According to a news release from Boyd Gaming, the lucky winner, simply identified as Michelle M. from Hawaii, hit a jackpot totaling $1.3 million this past Monday while playing IGT's Wheel of Fortune machine.
Oh, boy.
I'm telling you, Shaggy. The company says she hit the jackpot after making a $5 bet while playing at the California Hotel and Casino in downtown over on Fremont Street. $1.4 million going back to Hawaii. Good for her. Congratulations. Then, later this past week, a couple of days ago, not one but two visitors visiting Vegas, one from Hawaii and one from Texas, Iowa. Did I say Hawaii? Iowa. If I said Hawaii, I apologize. I had that trouble earlier in the show. Jeez Louise. I'm telling you, one from Iowa and one from Texas. The first guest, Michael Takes, ironically, from Cascade, Iowa, played for an hour before hitting a jackpot that landed him $1,041,779 around 1 a.m. on Thursday at the link. Could you imagine? I'd like to know how much. What I noticed in this story, which we didn't get in the other story, how much this guy bet and how, he played for an hour, but how much did he actually put in before getting the million back? That's what I'd like to know. He said he plans to use his winning by buying a fishing boat and saving for retirement. So, is there a lot of fishing in Iowa? I don't hear about a lot of great fishing in Iowa. I don't know. Maybe someone from Iowa could call in and let me know. 702-329-6947. It'd be interesting to know. And then the second guest, Edward Marks of Spring, Texas, won $473,000 jackpot with a 7-card straight flush while playing Guy Pal Poker for 3 hours at Caesar's Palace on Wednesday. Marks is in town for a long weekend trip and plans to save his winnings. Good for him. But again, he played for 3 hours. How much? I mean, I don't play Pai Gow. I don't know how the betting works or what limits there are on Pai Gow. But if you're playing for 3 hours, you probably have to have invested enough money that you subtract that off the $450,000 or $473,000. How much did he really win? Trust me, even if he was betting up to $1,000 by the time he hit, I'll still take the difference. It's okay. But, you know, you hear all these things going on, it makes you wonder. But congratulations to all those winners. Rare and far and few between, because as I always like to remind folks, Las Vegas was never built on winners, okay? Keep that in mind when you come out here. One thing I also noticed in some of the trends of people winning jackpots, the airport has been also getting a lot of jackpot winners, which traditionally I always believed that the airport was some of the toughest odds to win some jackpots in because, you know, they have a audience that is just stuck in the airport, so they're going to try to keep you playing forever and ever. Okay, now we know Las Vegas always loves the casino properties, the strip properties, the themed casinos. Well, I don't know if you heard about this or not, but check this headline out. Las Vegas Strip adding a cannabis-friendly hotel. How's that one going for you, huh? Company that operates a marijuana-positive. Thank you very much. There you go. And then there's going to be a White Castle built inside for all the munchies that you get afterwards as well. Sam loved that one. He almost spilled his drink all over himself. That's right. White Castle, the food of the munchies. All right. Let's see. Company that operates a marijuana-positive hotel in Phoenix has bought a property just off the famous Las Vegas Strip. So cannabis consumption in Las Vegas. Cannabis was legal in this town going on, what, maybe 10 years now? Maybe a little shy of that, but roughly 10 years. So it is legal here. I would just love to know, though, if that hotel will also be agreeing to sending some of the proceeds and revenue they get to the education fund, like the marijuana was supposed to do when marijuana first came out, okay? I still believe a forensic audit needs to be done with the state budget and find out where all those millions of dollars went. Exactly. Okay, last piece of news I have before we go to our first break. We welcome Sam up after the break. Stadium developer plans a $3 billion sports arena and casino project in Las Vegas. Oakview Group has acquired 25 acres in Las Vegas and helps to build and plans to build a sports and entertainment district, including an arena, a hotel, and casino. The groundbreaking is expected to take place sometime next year, and because the arena is going to have about 20,000 seats in it, we're thinking more of an NBA potential for her team. And Jennifer McCord, Jennifer McCord, my friend out in Hawaii, wants to know if White Castle's good. We'll talk about that when Sam comes up, Jennifer. I used to, listen, I loved it when I lived back east. My now wife, we used to buy a sack of it. Yeah, exactly. We used to buy a sack of a dozen fries and a chocolate shake. And boy, that chocolate shake would coat the stomach. Let me put it that way. So, but when you have the munchies, I guess in a way it doesn't really matter. Let's see. So they're talking about this property is going to be near the Interstate 15 and I-215 adjacent to the new high-speed rail station. And they plan on building the arena there. The arena alone is going to cost about $1 billion. Look, I understand why they want to build this stuff in and around near the Strip, like Allegiant Stadium and everything, and the traffic is right there. Then there's talk about the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's, apparently, the talk is still very heavy about them potentially coming to Vegas, although the folks in Oakland were voting on a new tax agreement that was going to dump some $6 billion into Oakland to keep the A's there. My opinion, the Athletics and a 30,000, 40,000 seat stadium should go out somewhere towards the Speedway. Plenty of land out there to continue to cramp the Strip. And they're talking about the property where the Tropicana Hotel is approximately to put this baseball stadium. Imagine a 7:05 first pitch, okay? 5 p.m., people are getting out of work. They're traveling to 15. 15 is a nightmare at any time of the day, as it is. Now, add a 5 o'clock, people trying to get home to and from, people now trying to get to a baseball game with the 7:05 start. Folks, the traffic on 15, the traffic getting off that highway at Tropicana coming in all angles is not going to be pretty. Now, granted, most of the games are generally on weekends. Exactly. But you talk about road rage, but you also have games that will happen during the week. Let's face it. And during the week is a major concern because of the work and rush hour traffic. I think there's so much land out there. People are saying, oh, it's 15 minutes from the strip. You know what? When the races come out here for NASCAR, we managed to do okay to get 150,000 people out there on a 3-day weekend to watch a race. The RTC has the system down to transport people from their hotels, get them out there. All this land. If this property for this NBA arena is going to be a focal point, there's plenty of land up there to build it. And as we know, build it and people will come. I don't care where they put it. 10 miles up 15 minutes, whatever it is, people will still go there because it'll be an attraction, especially if a casino is attached to it. The more these things are being talked about being put on the strip. To me, Allegiant Stadium, though technically is not on the strip, but people still classify it as on the strip, right near Las Vegas activity. But let me tell you about this though: a 60,000 seat arena and a 2,500 parking garage or parking lot allotment. Now, somebody needs to do better math because I don't know whoever thought that a 2,500 parking space facility was going to meet the needs of a 60,000 seat football stadium or a 30,000 seat concert when Garth Brooks was in town or whatever. I don't know who thought up that math because that was not going to work. Now imagine putting a baseball stadium in there and now potential of a basketball arena. We don't have the property for parking lots. And the parking lots are going to have to be a mile or so away from the arenas, and they're going to have to get shuttled anyway. I don't understand. But they didn't ask my opinion. I missed the memo for them to call me and say, hey, what's your thoughts on this, Aaron? Well, there you have it anyway, nonetheless. All right, we're up against it. That takes us to our first break. That means coming back on the other side. Mr. Sam Novak will join me here to my right on the set. We're going to get into some very interesting topics when the man joins us. Now, we have some new sponsors that are joining us effective today. I want to welcome aboard Marsigliano's Pizza and More and our good friends over at My Smart Pools, along with our friends over at the Solar Company. So please, watch this from our sponsors and be right back. You're watching Aaron's Hour. Thank you for watching.
Hey, it's Noel Casimiro here, the solar guy with ShopBestSolar.com. Now, did you know the solar industry is unregulated? That's why it's vital to choose a credible company like ShopBestSolar.com that will provide quality service and offer you a fair deal. ShopBestSolar.com has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and has won Contractor of the Year 3 years in a row. So go to ShopBestSolar.com. Don't just trust anyone who knocks on your door. Contact me, Noel Casimiro, the solar guy, at ShopBestSolar.com. One more time, that's ShopBestSolar.com.
Do you miss the taste of classic Italian food? Marsigliano's Pizza and More was recently voted number 29 in the country for its great tasting pizza, pastas, parmesanas, strombolis, and desserts. If it's not on the menu, owner Richie will have it made for you. Marsigliano's can now take care of all your catering needs. Marsigliano's is located at 8125 West Sahara Avenue. Whether it's dine-in, take-out, or delivery, you'll love the food and keep coming back. Call 702-979-9222. That's 702-979-9222 to enjoy the best Italian food in Vegas.
My Smart Pools is recognized among the top pool, spa, and backyard design console companies in the area to help you achieve the vision that you have for your backyard. With flexible owner, builder, DIY plans, and custom pool packages, Jeff and Dustin and the entire My Smart Pools family are committed to maximizing your budget, provide you with an amazing outdoor living experience. www.mysmartpools.com. Call us today at 702-330-4171.
All righty then. Welcome back to Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. Coming to you live from the Gold Light Vegas Studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me now is the man, the myth, the legend, and the mighty sword of a pen. Mr. Sam Novak joins me here at the console. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for coming in, man.
Absolutely.
We've been connected on Facebook for a couple of years, and we comment on each other's stuff every once in a while. And Aaron was a big catalyst a couple of weeks ago. He said, you know who you need on the show? I said, who? He says, you need to get Sam Novak. He is. He is an Uber fan of yours, by the way.
I don't know what to say. I mean, that's
I don't.
exciting. I
I'd
like
be
it.
worried
I
or
like
not.
it. No. He hasn't called me up at home in the middle
No,
of the
not
night.
yet. Not yet. So when I first reached out to you, you were traveling. You were doing some business, I think Mexico, or
yeah, right.
you had stuff going on. Yeah, we'll do it when we come back. And I'm glad we were able to finally make it work together. So, little brief history. The man is originally from Pittsburgh, but he spent a long time in Fort Lauderdale before moving to Vegas after an unexpected trip in 2005. And as we learned, many people who come to Vegas for whatever the reason, unexpected or vacations or whatever it is, people end up staying. So Sam has been a resident here of Las Vegas now for 16 years. And we'll talk about all that he's done and everything. But yeah, so you've been in Vegas now for enough time to see a lot of stuff change in this town.
Actually, I've only been a resident here for like 3.5 years.
So how did you get out? So tell me about the transition. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, I was doing all my writing remotely.
David Nichols says hello, by the way.
Hey, David. Good morning to you. I love David. He's great.
So you're doing stuff remotely.
Yeah, I was working from Florida, coming here to visit, seeing shows, walking
Okay.
around, learning about the casinos,
Okay.
and I would just start writing about it. So it became kind of a regular thing that I would come to visit,
Okay.
do as much as I could within a week, go home, write about it for the next couple of weeks or
Okay.
months, and then start all over again.
Well, so coming to Vegas often enough to see what goes on in this town. I mean, you probably had as much of a good feel of what was happening as a resident would.
Yeah, and you know what, the thing is, when I ended up moving here, I always wanted to write from the perspective of a tourist.
Okay.
So I had to make sure that while I live here now, I'm far enough out of the city that I can make trips into it and look at it from a tourist point of view.
Sure.
So I'll get a hotel room and do things that tourists would. And then I also have the advantage of living here locally, so I can
Sure.
see all the crap that's going on in the background.
Which could be a whole titled show all by itself. But your original blog was Vegas Unfiltered, right?
The first one that was solely me, yes.
Right. That was just yours.
I wrote for a couple of different organizations
Right.
leading up to that.
Okay.
And then I just struck out on my own because some of the places that I was writing for thought I was getting a little bit too saucy for
Too
them.
saucy. That's why you come to Vegas. You want to get saucy
Right.
shit in Vegas, man.
Right.
Come
and
on now.
It's not all fluff.
Right.
I mean, there's some serious grit out there.
There is.
And nobody wants to talk about it except for some of us.
There you go. Maybe we'll make it a podcast at some point too, so people can hear you talk about it too.
Saucy Grit.
That's
with
a great-
Sam and Aaron.
You know what? Saucy Grit's a great name for a show. I like that. Saucy Grit. I dig that Saucy Grit. So now, though, Vegas Unfiltered, you're now also writing, or your platform has moved to another successful platform?
I was invited to bring Vegas Unfiltered onto Vegas 411.
Mm-hmm.
So now I work doing the same thing, but on a bigger platform, bigger scope, with people that work with me now. They still don't know what to make of me, I don't think.
Yeah. So how long is for what I read last summer? Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
June or July.
Yeah. Right on. So when they called you and reached out to you, what was your reaction to them saying, "Hey, we want you to write and become part of our stuff"?
Totally skeptical.
Okay.
You know, we were still coming out of the pandemic. I was doing
Right.
a lot of freelance writing for Las Vegas Magazine and
Okay.
a few other websites. And when everything was shut down, it was really shut down.
Right.
Most of the people that were my contacts at these different sites, they just disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get an email saying, you know, they're shutting down our office. Here's your contact person for when we come back.
Wow.
And then I would write the check on those folks, and
They were already gone.
The emails were bouncing
Oh,
back.
boy.
So it's like, okay, you know, keep going doing what you're doing. So I kept my blog running during the pandemic.
Okay.
And that's actually when it started getting big.
Okay.
The article that I wrote the night after all the casinos went dark went really, really viral. It ended up having over 1 million readers in
Wow.
192 countries.
Jeez.
People were really interested to see what it would be to view Vegas in the dark. It was something that we'd never think to see.
Yeah, and you know what though? Even with literally nothing going on. I mean, I remember people taking pictures. They were walking down the center of Las Vegas Boulevard, literally skateboarding or biking or skating or just walking, literally down the middle of the street. No car, nothing to be had, right?
Nothing.
Nobody there. But it just goes to prove people from all around the world want to know what's going on in this town, regardless.
I always think of Las Vegas as being, in a way, one of the two centers of the universe.
Okay.
And the other one being perhaps New York City.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Stephen King's writings?
I don't go out of my way, but I
Okay,
know, obviously.
you may be familiar with a book that he wrote called The Stand.
Oh, yeah.
Post-apocalypse,
Right.
the world is wiped out by a virus,
Right.
and civilization sorts itself into two different camps. One in Denver, Colorado,
Okay.
which is the good people,
Uh-oh.
and then this Satan-like figure rises up and takes over Las Vegas and moves into the penthouse of the Plaza Hotel down on Fremont Street.
Sounds like real life, doesn't it? But anyway.
Well, it was extremely timely for what was going on.
Sure.
And, they had just done a remake of that show, which was airing in 10 parts on TV during the pandemic.
Wow.
And it brought the attention back to Vegas of
Sure.
a post-apocalypse scenario.
Sure.
And that may have been why people, there we go. That may have been why people wanted to read what was going on here.
Right, right.
So I got off on a tangent, but...
No. That's how you brought reality to what was going on.
So, suddenly I'm getting contacted by a lot of different people from all over the world that are asking me to become a part of whatever they're doing. Usually it involved, we're getting started and we need some funds. You want to invest? So I just, thank you, no.
Exactly.
And this real legitimate job offer came along to work for Vegas 411, and that was kind of the same way, saying, no, I'm good the way I am.
Right.
I'm glad that they saw through the bluster of it all, because we met, we talked. They said, do what you do, full reign, make it soar.
No, your title is Deputy Chief, is that right?
Deputy editor.
Deputy editor.
And you know what, in all fairness, the reason that I actually, that was one of the conditions that I put as wanting to come aboard, was I wanted to have that title.
Right.
I really don't edit much of anything.
So you just pretty much work on your own stuff, is that right?
I do. I'll dive into a few things here and there, but
Gotcha.
there's somebody at the office that's truly our editor. I just wanted that title because I was working for a site called Vegas Chatter,
Okay.
which was really, really big about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And they were part of the Condé Nast Travel Network.
Okay.
And I got I got offered this promotion to work as deputy editor on their site the very same week that the corporation announced that they were going to shut the site down.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was like one of those things on my shoulders. I need to have that title. Because that was going to
Right.
be my official position with
Right.
them.
Right on.
And years later, I'm deputy editor, but I'm really not.
Well,
I just write my
karma
own
has a way of coming back around, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems fitting. I
There
don't
you
mind.
go. Special shout out to my friend Healy out in Denmark, currently listening right now. Good to see you out there, Healy. You and I still have to talk, Healy, because I know I want to get you on, talk about your artwork, and you have some friends out there that are entertainers as well. So we are international. My
We
friend
are.
from
We
Denmark
truly are.
is listening to Sam Novak
That's
right now.
awesome.
Vegas411.com is the website where you'll find his stuff. So, what was the first time? What was the first event, the first thing that you remember writing about that kind of allowed you to, I'll just say go off the rails, that's really not the words, that's the first words that come to mind, but to really express your opinion unfiltered, that people started saying, you know what, this guy Sam, he may be onto something. Do you remember what the start of that was?
It may have been this write-up, this kind of sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek piece that I did on what was then the Imperial Palace. Many years ago, my mom was a big Vegas fanatic, and she always stayed at the Imperial Palace.
Okay.
She was a high roller there. They would pick her up in a limo.
Right.
And she just loved the place. Well, by the time I got here, it was very run down.
Very different.
Not something that I would
Now it's
want.
not even there.
Right. And I just walked around taking a lot of pictures, and I saw some things that looked like, one thing in particular, the carpet there was beyond frightening. But I'm walking down the corridor from my room, and I noticed what looked like a smear from CSI. It looked like a bleeding dead body had been dragged into one of the hotel rooms, and the door closed behind
Oh,
it.
no.
And I'm like, I'm going to have fun with this. So I just made it this really awful article and opened up a few eyes, and never got invited for a free room like
Never.
my mom did.
Oh, can't imagine. Can't imagine. Why. To
Nothing.
show, which in a way is like you would think that they would, to show, you know what, you're wrong. Let me show you what our property is about, because obviously if you had that kind of reach, if they proved you wrong, would have been beneficial to them.
Interesting that you should say that, because that's how I ended up getting in so good with the Westgate Las Vegas Resort. I had written a really unflattering review about them when they first took over, and wisely they reached out to me and said, this is not our goal. This is not what we want our customers to feel.
Right.
Let us have another chance.
Right on.
And I came back a few months later. They had really completed their renovations and turned the place around, and now I'm a fan.
See, there you go. See, that's customer service.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it right. Jennifer, my friend from Hawaii, has a question for you. Sure. Was Vegas Chatter the site where they had a funny statement about each hotel?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Not sure, Jennifer. Not sure. That's all right. Listen, just go to Vegas411.com and look up his stuff now. That's all you have to worry about.
Yeah, it's more exciting.
Exactly. So that got you started, and that's a sign of what customer service used to be. And how long ago was that, would you say?
That's about 6 years ago.
Okay. Not too far.
No, not too far.
Too far back.
Right.
So that's relatively recent that you would think, people, especially in Vegas where we're a service town, we'd want to do right by people.
But that's become increasingly rare.
Yes.
Even then, we've had such a takeover of the Strip by the MGM Corporation and Caesars Corporation, and it's all money.
Did we freeze? Are we on the app?
Are you kidding me?
Are we still on the app?
Still on the, yep.
All right, we're still on the mobile app, so we're going to keep going.
All right.
The internet today, I mean, his system just started rebooting itself during my wrestling show before.
Oh, fun.
So now it just looks like the internet's playing some games. But anyway, everybody listening, we thank you for staying with us on the app. So, okay, today now customer service is not what it used to be back in the day.
It's not really customer service.
No.
It's obligatory. We'll take care of you. Pay us. Right.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I hate knowing that because that's not what this city was founded
No,
on.
not at all. And this is where people still will talk about when Vegas was, and I'm just going to say this because people have their beliefs, when the mob ran the